In the last video we had a look at Gutenberg and we built this page using the Gutenberg block editor. In this video I want to show you a different block editor. It's the one that I use and it's the one that probably is the most popular. So if you go to Add New and you're going to search for Elementor. Now I've already got this installed on my computer. You can see it's here, Elementor Page Builder. But what you'll see if you search for Elementor is that there are a lot of add-ons for Elementor as well. And these add-ons typically give you more blocks, different types of blocks, to become more and more creative about your web pages. So I'm going to just activate. And then once activated, you will have a menu down on the left called Elementor, which if you click on it, you can go into the settings. There is a getting started link as well, which you can go and have a look at. There's a video there to get started, and you even have the option there to create your first page and get the full guide. Before we create our first page with Elementor though, let's have a look at all of the posts that were on the website. What's happened to them? Well, nothing's happened to them. They're still all there, and they're still in the same format as you left them. If I click on one, you can see they're still in Gutenberg. But I could edit any page that's created with Gutenberg or even the classic editor in Elementor by clicking on this button here. Be aware that if you've used Gutenberg to build it with blocks and you then go into edit with Elementor, you lose all of the blocks. It becomes a single paragraph block with all of this other images and item lists and all the rest of it all included in that single paragraph block. That's not really what I want here. I want to show you how to build that krill oil benefits with Elementor. So let's click on Add New. And I'm going to put a title, Krill Oil Benefits, and then click on Edit with Elementor. And what loads up is the Elementor screen. It's a little bit squished, but you can see this dotted box is where we start to build the web page. And so the first thing we want to do is add in a paragraph, our opening paragraph that we had. And we can do that by going over onto the right hand side and selecting from all of the blocks that we've got. You see all these blocks down here that we can use. The one that we want is the text editor, so I can drag and drop that across here, and then you can see we've got the block. When your mouse cursor is inside the block, you get this little menu at the top. This is to add a new section, this is to edit this current section, and this one is to delete the section. And we've also got this little edit icon over here, and essentially what we can do is we can actually just start typing our content into this block. So let's do that. Now as I'm typing, you'll see that over on the left we've got the old classic style editor, and the content that I'm typing is being typed into there. I could actually switch over to here if I wanted to and carry on editing, or I can edit in the block itself. Okay, so we now have our first block. The next item we wanted here was to have those two columns with the image and the list item side by side. So to do that, we can go over to the block selector by clicking this icon top right, and you can see all of the blocks in the list. Whereas in Gutenberg the block was called columns, in Elementor it's called inner section. So let's just drag that across, and you can see the bar being produced where it's going to be dropped, so I can precisely drop it where I want it, and we now have the inner section. If we click on the little heading button with the 6 little dots, you can see we have all of the options for that inner section over here. If we move our mouse over the left or right side, you can see a little icon appearing up in the left hand corner, which if you click on it, you can go into settings for that particular column alone. If you right click on that little block, you also have the option of adding a new column, and then that will give you as many columns as you like. You can of course delete the columns as well. Let's get back to 2. And then what we want to do is we want to add an image to this first one. And so we're going to go back over to the block selector, and I'm going to pull in an image. And then over on the left, I can click on the big thumbnail here, and it'll take me to the media library where I can choose the image to insert. And there we are, the image has been inserted. With the image selected, I can go in here if I want to and add a caption. Whether there is an attachment caption, there is, or I could add in my own custom caption if I wanted to, and just type something. We can also link that to something, media file or a custom URL, etc. We have options for styling the image. So for example, we could put a solid border and we can change the width of the solid border. I'm going the wrong direction. If we want to, you can see that that solid border is being done. Let's remove that. We can also increase the radius. So we're basically putting a circular border or circular corners to the image. So lots and lots of options, and even we've got some advanced options here. I'm not going to go through them all. What we want to do next though is we want to add the bullet points over on the right hand side. Now bullet points are part of the text editor. So what we really want to do is drag in a text editor. Now the text editor we saw up here when we added this first paragraph, it is basically the old classic WordPress editor, and you can format text in the text editor, and that includes bullet points. So let me just highlight all that information and delete it, and I'm going to click on the little bulleted list. It's a very small icon up there because of the screen sizes I'm dealing with for this video, but you can spread these things out a little bit more on your screen real estate if you want to. So let's type in the bullet points. Okay, so there are the bullet points. Let me just bring that screen across, and you can see they've been added over here into the block. One of the things that you can see though is that those bullet points are really close to the image, and in some cases they may even be covered by the image. So what we can do is we can add a margin or a padding around the block, and all blocks have this. You can see that if I click on the fish, click on the advanced tabs, we can add margins or padding to the image. So let's add the padding to the image, and you can see the image is now moving away from the block with the bullet points. Or I can go and select the bullet points, click on the advanced and add some padding to that, and that will help to separate those two items from each other. The next thing we want to add to this web page is a quote, and if you look down, there isn't actually a quote in Elementor. The closest you've got probably is testimonial, and if I just add that briefly, you can see you can put a testimonial in there with an image and the person who said it. So that one would work. The other option you have would be the text editor. You could just put a text editor in, and if I copy and paste in the quote, let's just put in AN other, and what we could do is we can even format this so that the title is in bold and the quote is in italics. Let's put in some quotes, and you could have that as the quote. Let's try and do it instead using the testimonial and see what happens. So I'm going to delete the text editor option. I'm going to go to the edit button, right click it, down to delete, and that will remove it. Let's go in and click on the testimonial, and you can see over on the left hand side now we've got an editor which is a little bit easier to use and a little bit more reliable, if I'm honest. And then we can put the name of the person who did the quote in there. It says designer as title. We could remove that. We don't need to include that. But we do have this image option in the testimonial, and that is something we probably want to remove. We'd probably also want to change the color of that. Removing the image is easy enough. If we move our mouse over to the choose image, not only can you click on that to choose one from the media library, but you also get the option of delete, and that just removes it. To change the color of the name, if we go across to style, we can change the color of the content, the name and the title. So if I wanted to make the content black, I can do that. If I want to change the name black, I can change it black as well. And the title, we don't have a title on there. So that has now formatted the testimonial perhaps as we want it. The final part of our web page was a closing paragraph, which again we're going to add text editor, drag it to the bottom, and then I'm going to come over to this side, select all of that demo text and delete it, and paste in my closing paragraph. And there we have it. Once you're done, you can click on the publish button, and that will publish the web page for you. And we now can click on that link to have a look, and it'll open that in a new window. And there is the page built in Elementor. But remember, in the Gutenberg example, we moved the quote, and we also wanted to switch these so the image was on the right and the bullet points on the left. Let's go back into Elementor and see about that and see how easy it is. Let's move the quote first. So if I move my mouse and click into the quote, in fact, I don't even need to click into it. I'll get this icon up here, which I can grab and drag to where I want to put it. Similarly with the image, I can grab the edit button, drag it across, drag the bullet points the other direction, and we have that updated. Click on the update button. And then we haven't been offered a link to view the page, but if you go up to the button up here and click on that and then click on view page, you can open that page and you'll see that everything now has been moved around. To get back into Elementor from that, you can just click on Edit with Elementor in the admin bar at the top and you're taken back into this section. We've actually used very, very few blocks for this. We've used a text editor, a testimonial, text editor, image, text editor. But you have loads and loads of blocks that you can add. You've got buttons. You can add video. You can add spacers and dividers. So let's say we wanted to put a divider above and below the quote just to make it look nice. Make it stand out a little bit more. We can space out the content a little bit more by adding a spacer, which, using the options over here, we can increase or decrease to make that spacer the size that we actually want. When you want to edit any of these, just click on the block itself and you'll have the options over on the left hand side, or click on the little edit button with the right mouse button and you get even more options. We can add Google Maps, icons. Icons are simply just graphics that you can add and you can customize. There's some built-in ones there that you can have a look at. You've got image boxes and icon boxes. They're very similar. An image box has an image at the top and then a heading and then some text. An icon box is the same, but it has an icon at the top like a star or something else. You can add image galleries, star ratings, icon lists, progress bars, counters, testimonials, tabs. The list goes on and on and on. I'm not going to go through all this. I suggest you download Elementor, the free version, and have a look, because there are loads of options there to help you build the sorts of pages that you actually want on your website. It is, in my opinion, the best page builder there is. In the next video, we'll have a look at the Pro version, just quickly, so you can see what additional features you get when you upgrade to the Pro Elementor. In the last video, we looked at the free version of Elementor, which is really powerful. But in this video, I want to give you an overview of what the Pro version adds to the free version. And the first thing it adds is it adds more different types of blocks. For example, we now also have, if I can spell it properly, a block quote, which we didn't have before. Do you remember we used the text editor for that before? And we could format and style that as we wanted. There are a lot of other blocks that aren't included in the free version, but I'm not going to go through it. This isn't about trying to sell you into buying the Elementor Pro version. This is just to tell you what is available if you really want to create your own themes and design a site exactly as you would like it. Over on the Elementor website, they actually tell you the difference between the Pro and the free. If I bring this down, you can see what the URL is there. And in terms of design, the Pro version has 300 plus Pro templates and blocks. Pro templates are used to design entire WordPress themes effectively. Motion effects, mouse effects, slides and carousels, custom CSS, scrolling effects, so you can get these parallax scrolling effects, animated headlines, flip boxes, other widgets. And then in terms of marketing, we've got pop-up builders, sticky elements, social buttons and integration, social proof widgets, light boxes. And then, of course, the theme builder, which is the main difference for me because it allows me to create a theme exactly as I want it. I can build the header section, I can build the footer section, and I can format everything exactly as I would like it. We will have a little look at this on one of my existing sites just to show you how it all works. And I'm not going to keep going down here. You can see there are lots and lots of differences between the Pro and the free version. Okay, let's go, and I'm going to log into a site of mine that's using the Pro version where I've actually created the theme for the website. This is the website here, and it's just a simple site of my own where I post photographs of mine and anything else that really interests me. It has a home page, it has a contact page which was built with Elementor. It's not been built with a plugin. It also has an about me page with this widget, which is a timeline widget, which allows me to put sort of historical dates down on there, and individual pages of where I visited to take photographs. We've got a feature image at the top with my photo, title, little introduction, Google map, and then an image gallery where you can click on the images and get them displayed. We've also got social sharing buttons. So the entire design of this website is done in Elementor using templates. That doesn't mean to say you don't have to have a theme installed. If I go over to the dashboard and we'll go to Appearance and Themes, you'll see that I'm using Astra as my theme. What that means is that Astra is the default theme. So anything I want to overwrite is put into the Elementor templates that I'm creating. But if I don't define something, like I don't define the size of a font or the color of a font, then it's going to take that information from Astra. So you always have settings defined in Astra which can be used if necessary. But if there's something you want to change, you can change it in the templates. If I go over to the templates quickly just to show you, we can see that if I click on the published link there, the published templates that I've created, I've got an archives page template which is found on all archives, so category pages, tag pages. I've got a post template that's found on all posts. I have a homepage template which obviously is for the homepage, a footer which is the footer template for the entire site, and a header which is the header template for the entire site. So how do these themes work? Well, first and foremost, if we go over to the appearance themes, you'll be able to see that I have Astra enabled. Astra is my main theme. I want you to think of these templates as part of a child theme that you're creating. So let's have a look at the image we looked at earlier about the design of a web page. With Astra active, Astra on its own would control the entire layout. It would control the header, the main content area, the sidebar, and the footer. When you activate Elementor Pro, that gives you the option to overwrite sections of the site with your own designs. So if I don't like the header that Astra creates for me, I can create my own in Elementor Pro and assign that as the new header, which would then be used on the site. And I can do the same for footers. The main content area, I can create individual templates to define the layout of posts, of pages, of category pages, and so on. So I have pretty much the total control over the way my site looks. I can redefine the theme completely so it looks nothing like Astra by replacing all the elements with Elementor templates. Let's have a look at an example of this. I've gone over here to one of my test sites, and this is the base Astra theme. You can see down here, powered by Astra in the footer. You can see up the top there is a header which isn't really that nice. Let's go over and have a look at what we can do to change the header. We'll create a template that will be used by this website for the header first. So within the dashboard, I've clicked on the templates menu item and we got this screen. Because I haven't created a template yet, it's saying, do you want to add a new template? I can click that, or I can click the add new over here. Let's just take the easy option and say I want to create a header. So what do I want to create? There we go, a header. Post type. We are going to ignore that and we're going to put in header template. Let's click create template. And then Elementor is going to open up and it's going to give us some options for pre-built designs for headers. And we can choose one of these if we like. We can have a closer look and say, well, that looks a lot nicer. Maybe I want to include that one, but let's try and build one from scratch. So I've cancelled out of that. We've just gone straight into Elementor. And then what we're doing now is designing what our header will look like. The content area is down here. This is the header up here. And so we just use the Elementor drag and drop block builder to build our header. And for this, I'm going to actually insert an inner section so I can include 3 columns in my header. So now I've got 2 columns here. Let's add another column. Let's right click, add new column. And in the left-hand column, I'm going to add site title. There we go, the site title, and we'll just style that. I don't like that color. Let's just change it. And you can see it's already hyperlinked to the site URL, so that will go to the home page. We can align that as well if we want to. Advanced, we're not going to do anything with that. Okay, in the right-hand column, I'm going to put in some social icons. So I can just drag that across, and here are the social icons in the settings. We can add new social icons if we want to. If you click on the add new, you then get this drop-down box which gives you a list of all the social icons that you can include. So let's have a look, Instagram. And then you put your link into the link box. The same with Facebook, you can put your link there. Twitter, you can put your link there. And Google Plus, you can put your link there. Well, Google Plus is no more, so let's delete that one altogether. Okay, so there's a start. In this one here, I'm going to put in a menu. So a top menu. Doing a search of menu, I can see there's 3 items. There's menu anchor, which you can use for jump links. And then there's a navigation menu, which is actually a WordPress widget that you can insert. And if you insert that, it's going to ask you to choose your menu. I'm not going to actually use that one. Let's just delete that widget and go back. And I'm going to insert the nav menu item here. And then it's going to ask you for the layout. So we can have horizontal, vertical, or drop down. So now that will drop down as a drop down menu, and you have different items for styling your menu. I'm going to leave it as that for now. If you are working on a template and you are not quite finished with it and you don't want to publish it yet, you can save it as a draft and then come back later and finish it. I'm going to leave this and just click on the publish, and it's now asking me where do I want to display the template. So we can add a condition. I'm going to add it to the entire site, but you could add it to category pages or post pages or pages, WordPress pages, whatever. You can actually define them in here. If I chose archives, then it'll say which archives and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say use this on the entire site, save and close. And then once it's finished, we can go over to the home page and let's refresh. And you can see my new header now has been updated, and that's the one that's being used, and that is the one that's going to be used on all of the pages of the website. So that would be the header done. We could do the same for the footer, and we could do the same for the post content areas of the website as well. This isn't a tutorial on how to use Elementor Pro. This is just a video that will show you the possibilities. This isn't a particularly inspiring or well-designed header, but you see how easy it is to do it. And you can do it all within the Elementor block building interface. Imagine being able to design the whole of your site with that block building interface, and you begin to realize the power that Elementor Pro gives you. Your base theme will be there working in the background, covering those areas that you haven't customized. And if your base theme, in my case Astra, has an update, I can update safely without losing any of my own customizations. So in many ways, this really is like a parent-child theme relationship.